Hey, what's up, everybody? Scott Spreitzer here. He's Indian Cowboy, and we are White Chocolate, brought to you by DocSports.com. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about over the next couple of days for Friday, April 18th. Going to look at some Lakers T-Wolves action in just a bit. The most heavily bet series, as you can imagine thus far, feature LeBron James, Luka Doncic, the LA Lakers. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but wanted to tell everybody again, if you're not yet a member over at DocSports.com, just want to give it a trial run. Click on that link below the video, get yourself set up for a free $60 account, and then you can use those free $60 on any of our daily packages, ICs, mine, anybody else over on the site. IC, good to see you again, man. It's been a few days, but I wanted to jump into a little Miami-Atlanta action on Friday night. We're going to cover, by the way, folks, both of the Friday night pro basketball games. Atlanta, this game basically pick 'em. In that total right around 219. I got a line service. I see that I can bring up about 20 books, and about 18 of them had pick 'em, as of about an hour before we jumped on the air here. So we'll call it a pick. We'll call it 219. Interesting, easy win for the Miami Heat in that game the other night, that play-in game. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, I might have I've already released a top play because I released it early accidentally. You ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually released the side as a 5-unit. But I'll tell you what I think about the total of this game. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, on the other game, that was my free play video total today. So you have one of those days at Docs, you're just like, well, everything's out early. And then we of course we have our customer service guru that sends us 15,000 question marks sometimes, but I didn't get anything today, which is good. But
wow.
I'll tell you about this.
Wait! You didn't get anything from our key customer service guy?
No.
A day early? I'm shocked.
No,
that's like plus 1,100 that you didn't hear anything.
Well, I think it's because my analysis was so good to clients, nobody complained.
There you go.
They're just like, good. I'll let them slide.
That's great.
But, people didn't let me slide on the free play video, though. They're like, I see. This is tomorrow's game. And then I had to send out a message on both YouTube and my Twitter to be like, oh, my second lean was on the Mets. So take that as a free play if you're really a degenerate and need something today. And I had 2 leans. Of course, the Mets won. So go figure. But no, as far as this game, the total, I like the under in this game, Miami and Atlanta. And I'll tell you both games, what I think about both games. First of all, Miami won 122-112 and 131-109. I mean, they clobbered Atlanta both in February and March. There's no way they're doing that in hot Atlanta. And Miami comes off scoring 109 points against Chicago. They, excuse my French, they might have blown their wad, if you will. Atlanta comes in because they're pissed off because Trae Young got tossed in the last game. That's going to motivate them. They've got double revenge. Atlanta also gave up 120 points. And I know the Hawks aren't like a premier defense, but 120 points is the highest they've given up over the last 5 games. Right. And that game against Orlando was nuts because they gave up 41 points in the fourth quarter to them. And that's not going to happen again either. I think when you put that all together, you're probably going to see an under here between Atlanta and Miami.
That's if I'm playing totals when it comes to this round, the play-in game, so to speak, the other night. It's generally going to be unders. I mean, I either play the under or I stay away from it. I agree with you on that. I know coming into this postseason, I mean, the unders were easily the way to go over the last several of these play-in tournaments. I know they split on Wednesday night, but I like this one here. I'm going to look at a prop in this one. While I do think it does stay under the total of 219, I like Tyler Herro here to make more than 2.5 3-pointers is what I'm trying to say, which currently as of about 10 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday night is around minus $1.35, give or take a couple of pennies. But the Hawks, they've been bad on the defensive perimeter. We do know that, 28th in the league in 3-point percentage allowed. He's going to get plenty of opportunities. He's probably going to take 7 or 8 threes, and I think he can make 3 of those 7 or 8 threes. He makes about 45% of his trays on the season or over the last month or so. I do think overall this game stays under the total, but asking for an under plus asking for a 3-point shooter to make 3 is not that big of a deal. It's certainly not a contrast on how you feel the total will go. So I'm going with Tyler Herro over 2.5 made 3-pointers. That Mavericks Memphis game I see on Friday night, the late game on Friday. Right now, Memphis laying 6, total 221.5. That number's come down a half a point Thursday afternoon going into Thursday night. They're now a 6-point favorite, Memphis. But, this is all about the Mavericks' big three being back and healthy and the way they disposed of Sacramento. They took a big lead in the second quarter. They went on to win by 14. I'm going to the prop market again here. I think PJ Washington over 25.5 points, assists, and rebounds, which is currently about a minus $1.10, is the way to go. PJ can shoot the tray. He forces defenders out deep, which means there's always the chance of he's either attempting a three-pointer or might get an assist on that particular possession. He cleans the glass for about 8 boards per game, basically averaged 25 points, assists, rebounds combined on the season. He finished with 30 against the Kings. This is one of those things, again, where I'm looking for something in a prop play, which we've been really good at, especially this week. 65 and 39 is the prop run now since I brought him to Docs. And the thing that I always look for is what can happen no matter who wins the game. And this is one of those situations with PJ Washington. So I'm looking at over 25.5 points, assists, and rebounds. Again, right around minus $1.10.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think that's a good call. I like the under in this game. This is what my free play was. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that Dallas kind of shot their wad, if you will, 120 points in their last game against Sacramento. And there's no way they're doing that here. They shot 50% from the field from 3-point land, 14 for 28, and they only scored 120. So, I don't see that happening again. They shot 49% from the field as well. This is a team that put up a 44-point spot in the second quarter. Plus, remember, Memphis beat them 132-97 last time. And that was recently too. So, that was on April 13th, 4 days ago. So Dallas's calling card is their defense. It's not going to be their offense, especially a Jason Kidd coach team. So he's going to coach them up here. And plus you get to get Memphis off of a big win or loss against Golden State, giving up 120 points. To put that in perspective, after they lost to Denver, they came back home and held Dallas 97 points. Mm-hmm. Or after they lost to Golden State the first time around on April the 1st, then they held at Miami Heat to 108 points. So what you have here is a Memphis team that is pissed off from giving up 121 points to Golden State. And then you have a Dallas team that's unlikely to shoot 50% like they did last game, so they're on a letdown. Plus, Dallas gave up 132 points to this team just 4 days ago. You put it all together, and I like the under today.
Yeah, again, like I said, I'm either going with the under with these early totals in the NBA postseason, or I'm staying away from it. So I agree with you there. We got the most bet series thus far, as you can imagine. When you got LeBron, you got Luka, you got all the noise that came about after the trade, and of course, the LA Lakers on the jerseys. This has become the most bet series thus far by the books that I talked to here in Las Vegas, and even outside of Las Vegas, outside of the state of Nevada. So game one on Saturday, Lakers a 4-point favorite, 216.5 on that total. I see if anybody's looking at a series, it's the Lakers minus 190, Minnesota plus 170. I'll kick it to you, but I just got to say, be careful, Laker fans, be careful, Laker bettors. This Minnesota team in the second round last year was matched up against Denver, and everybody thought it was a 5-game series at best. Denver's going to win going away. Minnesota 1-7, including winning that 7th game on Denver's home court. Your thoughts on this game or on this series?
Yeah, I like Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota plus the 4. Minnesota's been here before with this squad, and LA has not. They still don't know what's going to happen in crunch time.
Sure.
With the Luka LeBron dynamic. And I get that the Lakers beat, Dallas recently, et cetera, but they didn't play that well. To be honest with you, that game, that was a weird game. Hachimura 15, LeBron 27, Reeves 11, Doncic 45, and then that was it. No. Nobody scored more than 5 points. And then you take a look at Minnesota. Minnesota is in a really nice spot in this game. Sometimes I just think you don't screw with the total and you just go side. And this is one of those games where you just don't mess with the total. Sometimes you get the side right, but sometimes you got to win the game twice to win the total. You got to get the side. You got to expect both teams to do what they're supposed to do. Sometimes you can predict, hey, Team A is going to have a letdown offensively, but you didn't expect Team B to, have a great offensive game, or you expected the blowout, but you didn't expect them to blow them out by that much. You know what I mean? Like I expected them 125, not 140. That messes up your total. So, as it relates to Minnesota coming in and their depth, look, Gobert, Randall, McDaniels, Edwards, Conley, Walker, DiVincenzo, Reed. That's a deep team.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to take I think they got 2 to 3 guys more scoring. And in a game of 48 minutes, that adds up, I'm taking Minnesota plus the 4.
Yeah, I like Minnesota plus the points in this game. I also like the series to go beyond the over-under is 5.5 games. I like it over 5.5. I think this is at least a 6-game series. I'm not going to bet the exact, outcome as far as the series. I rarely do that, but if I had to, it would be 7. But definitely over 5.5 in this series for me. Any Friday baseball for you? I got a game I'm going to talk about in just a moment, but I thought I'd dish to you first and see if you had anything going on Friday's Diamond card.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you go first,
Okay.
and then I'll try to
piggyback
off you there.
Dodgers at Texas, I see. And look at that price. The Dodgers are not laying $3 or higher. How about that? They're on the road. They're in Arlington. They're laying $1.40. Always a shocker, it seems like this season when Los Angeles is laying less than 250. But anyway, Dodgers are 2-4 in true road games. Take away the neutral site games in Japan against the Cubs, and they're 2-4 away from home. They didn't like the cold in DC or in Philly, apparently. Don't have to worry about that play in this series in Arlington. But you got Yamamoto off to a fantastic start. He shut out both the Cubs and the Phillies in his last 2 outings, gave up 1 unearned run, no earned runs, allowing just 9 base runners with 14 punch outs in 12 innings pitched in those 2 games against good baseball teams, the Cubs and Phillies. He went 6 full in both of those games and they couldn't touch him. So I was looking at Yamamoto, second season in his major league career, 9 true road starts. Again, tossing out the 1 game he pitched in Japan. 9 true road starts in his Major League Baseball career. How about a 1.62 ERA, 0.99 WHIP, 10.3 punch outs per 9 innings pitched, and he gives up a whopping 1 home run every 28 innings pitched. The guys have been amazing. And I know Jacob deGrom is on the field for Texas. That's part of the reason this line is relatively low when it comes to a Dodger game. He got ripped against both Seattle and Tampa Bay, and maybe deGrom, as he's building back, is going to find something close to what he once was. But boy, trying to figure it out against this offense, I think they're outmanned here, outgunned a little bit, the Rangers. Nice series against the Angels for the Rangers. They just wrapped it up earlier Thursday, got another win. But boy, I point to some really shoddy Major League Baseball schedule making I see when it came to that series. The Angels have played 18 games, 15 on the road. That team was worn out in this series against the Texas Rangers. And so I factored that into the mix too. And I think the Dodgers, you can lay $1.50 or less. Right now, $1.40. I like the Dodgers over Texas on Friday.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I'm gonna actually back another something on the same vein here. I'm gonna take Houston, right? I'm gonna take Houston here as they hook up against San Diego. I know it's shocking to see San Diego at 15-4, and to sort of go against San Diego here. But keep in mind that with Kyle Hart pitching here, he's a very good pitcher. Obviously, he hasn't lost a game this year. He went 6 innings, 1 hit, and no run against the Rockies, but that was against the Rockies. And if you take a look at the Guardians game, he went 5-5-2. He gave up 2 home runs. And if you take a look at the Cubs game, he didn't get past an inning. In 0.2 innings, he gave up 5 runs. So really, he's coming off 1 good start against the Rockies, and the Rockies are terrible. So what does that really say, even though the Padres are 15-4? You combine that with Houston coming off a loss to St. Louis 1-4. They lost that series. They come back home here with Gusto on the mound. We should take Gusto just for the sake his name is Gusto. He is in his first year, 4 innings, 4 hits, and 3 runs against the Angels, his worst start of the year. But he did go 3 innings and 1 hit, no runs against Minnesota with 4 strikeouts. He went about 4 innings, 4 hits, and 1 run against San Fran in a couple of in 2 appearances. I got faith in him. I think there's a lot of value, and I think the public might get a little buried here. I might even make that my premium selection. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to back Houston over San Francisco. Or San Diego.
Yeah, I definitely like that. And San Francisco came back to earth a little bit on Thursday in Philly. So I like that play. I was going to mention that real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. But I wanted to mention to people, and I've said this maybe before the season began when I was looking at these schedules, check and see these ridiculous runs that or not runs, but stretches that Major League Baseball schedule maker, and I guess they use some kind of AI, but somebody's got to be there to oversee this crap. You can't have a team like the Angels and make them play 15 road games in their first 18 games. They're 9-9. I give them credit. I thought they'd be like 5-13, 6-12 at this point of the season. But when you schedule mediocre or worse teams to play 15 out of 18 days on the road to start the season, you're almost taking their ticket sales away from them before the season begins. Because if they would have started 6-12, the fans are going to show up that first weekend when they're back home, second time of the season, but they're not going to keep showing up if they're out of the race. And Angel fans are pretty good. They'll get their 30,000, except for Sundays when they get like 18. But some of these teams, man, and when it comes to handicapping and betting, watch for these stretches where the schedule maker, I just think, blew it and has teams playing tons of games on the road over a 2-week period. Kansas City played something like 14 days in a row. Almost all their games, well, every game since April 10th was on the road. I played against them on Thursday, one with Detroit. That was 50% of my handicap. 14 straight days of baseball for the KC Royals. Pins getting worked. And they played no home games since I think it was April 10th. I mean, just crazy stuff. So anyway, just a little something I look at. It's not usually 50% of my handicap as it was on Thursday, but it's a good 20% of the handicap. And it keeps me off losers, I see. When I think a team is really worn down, they've been bouncing from place to place. Now, listen, Patrick Corbin, being one of the worst pitchers in baseball for the last 5 years, faced an unrested Angels team, and even he got the job done. So, that shows you kind of what's going on with Major League Baseball when these teams travel for too long. Anyway, enough of that. Before we wrap it up, any final thoughts for the weekend?
No, I'm pretty excited about the weekend, and especially with hockey and the NBA playoffs going on. Hockey, on a 14-3 run after the 7-unit winner tonight on the Penguins, and so 23-7 plus 6,000 now, so that's pretty good. And excited about NBA 5-1 run. I had the Heat over the Bulls, so excited about tomorrow.
Cool. Got a 7-unit play going on Friday, an NBA prop that we haven't talked about. So if the folks want to jump on board, and don't forget about that $60 free account, you can click on the link below the video if you're not yet a member. For Indy and Cowboy, I'm Scott Spreitzer. You know what to do, everybody. Let's put them in the win column. We'll talk to you next week.